Hello and welcome to the ARCS. We're live here from Daytona International Speedway for the running of the Hooters 100. This is where it all began, folks, here in the ARCS 19 races ago. We started off with 40 hopefuls competing for playoff spots, and now we're down to the final 4 drivers who were able to survive the gauntlet of the 19 race season thus far. Those drivers being Noah Hobson in the 18, Pedro Perez in the 26, Elias Goodbias in the 22, and the final driver squeaking his way in, Jerry Funk in the 34 car. Now, let's take a look at today's top 10 qualifiers. On the pole, Noah Hobson. In second, Pedro Perez. In third, Elias Goodbias. In fourth, Jerry Funk. In fifth, Carter Hayden. In sixth, Tyler Seville. In seventh, Matthew Bussey Jr. In eighth, Diego Tacone. In ninth, Trevor Walker. And rounding out your top 10, Tristan Fish. Let's take a look at the rest of the drivers and get right out into the action in the final race. And we're live here at Daytona International Speedway, where the season began, and this is where the season will end. Your top 4 drivers are your Champ 4 in order of how they pointed, or how the points stood when the checkered flag fell at Homestead Miami Speedway, as Richard Petty is going to peel off of the track here onto pit road for the final time in the inaugural season, as the green flag is about to wave and season 1 is almost done. But first, we've got to crown a champion. Noah Hobson takes the green and we're underway. Noah Hobson leading here at Daytona, and speaking of leading, he's led the points for the majority of this season. It would be quite a disappointment for Noah Hobson to lose this championship, but anything can happen, folks. As that inside line got a good shunt here, and Elias Goodbias, one of our championship contenders, is going to look to the inside of Noah Hobson, and Carter Hayden's going to take it 3 wide for the lead here on lap 1 of the Hooters 100. A little bit of 3 wide action already forming up here in the pack, as I am definitely excited for this race, and I hope you are too. And we've got 4 wide for second place. Almost already. Jeez. These drivers are hungry. And this is the last time we will see every single driver in this 40-car field compete against each other in this form or fashion. So this will be a bittersweet moment for many drivers hoping to claim a victory in the inaugural season and get the last victory in the inaugural season. So we've got 3 wide. My goodness, as they are 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 throughout the entire pack. It's like they're doing a parade lap out there. And our top, and if you look to that outside line, you see, well, you'll see here, we've got Elias Goodbias, Noah Hobson, and Pedro Perez all nose to tail, but Jerry Funk is ahead of Elias Goodbias in that middle lane, that green and yellow car behind Trevor Walker there on the inside, or the middle lane, I should say, is your lead championship driver. 37 laps to go here at Daytona, but Jerry Funk is leading the championship drivers, as Brandy Harper, a former playoff driver, is leading this field. We've got 3 by 3 by 3. This is absolutely crazy here in Daytona. You don't see this often, and I don't know how far they can run like this, 3 wide for so long. As Brandy Harper is going to go to that middle lane. And Jacob Bradley is going to take the bottom here at Daytona. Jacob Bradley is quite familiar with Daytona, as he was our inaugural winner here in the first race of the series. Collected that win at Daytona. As they come down the backstretch, they're 3 abreast still. They are tightly packed together. And Andy Seville going to look to the bottom of Jacob Bradley here, coming out of turn 3 and 4. So we've got 4 of 40 complete here. I almost see 4 wide, but we don't, as Trevor Walker is going to push Brandy Harper on that outside line. As Jerry Funk is still sitting there in the middle lane, pushing Jacob Bradley. And these drivers have packed themselves quite tightly together. Andy Seville is 3 abreast here, and with the Jacob Bradley machine and the Brandy Harper machine. And Jared Jansen on that bottom lane. Going to crowd that inside line, but that inside line is so powerful here at Daytona. 6 of 40 complete here in the Hooters 100. Ooh, as we're going to... almost 4 wide there as Keith Vega looked to the bottom there. But he's getting that shove from Maxwell Smart. So far, so bueno here at Daytona. Everything's fairly calm. And Keith Vega looking to the inside of Jared Jansen like he was on the backstretch, trying to make it 4 wide, but everybody's going to get pushed to the top here. Ooh, and Jared Jansen's going to go down the block here. But Keith Vega's going to try to sneak to the inside of that 51 machine. But Andy Seville on that outside lane is leading, or was leading, I should say, before going into that corner. Surprisingly, that outside line has been pretty good. Well, not very good. They're the outside line, but at least for holding the driver's positions there, as we got Keith Vega on that bottom side, still working with Maxwell Smart in tow. Got Maxwell Smart on that bottom and Keith Vega on the top side. Jared Jansen's going to lead that lap. And it's looking like they're going to go down into turn 1 and 2 here, and Maxwell Smart's going to have the lead, I believe. And the top championship driver is still Jerry Funk in that middle lane. Ooh, almost 4 wide for the lead here. Theophilus Morgendorf are going to look to the inside, but Maxwell Smart might close the door. Ooh, and we do have almost 4 wide here, but they're going to cycle out. And we're going to get back to 3 wide racing the front. Theophilus Morgendorf on that bottom side. We're going to take a look at some of the championship competitors here as we got Jerry Funk pushing Maxwell Smart there. And we'll see how those outside line is faring here. And we got, yep, those 3 playoff drivers are all nose to tail back here. Elias Goodbias, Noah Hobson, and Pedro Perez, as Jarrett Trudell's going to drop to the bottom for the lead here, the inside line, I should say, as we got these drivers back here all vying for the championship. But Jerry Funk still up at the front. Oh, but Jerry Funk's gotten moved out to that outside lane. That's not good for Jerry Funk. So he's going to go backwards, but he is still technically the leader of the championship here in the ARCS. So we got Maxwell Smart out in the lead here. Jarrett Trudell there as well. Jarrett Trudell getting a little spin happy. Just kidding. He's been spin happy this season, but he hasn't spun anybody here the last 2 races. It's Beth Sanders and Dre Herron. Dre Herron definitely did not have a great season, so it would be nice to see Dre Herron get a victory here in the last race of the season. Maxwell Smart, though, the first driver to really break away from this pack here at Daytona, establish himself in the lead here, as Jarrett Trudell's going to drop below Maxwell Smart, or behind Maxwell Smart, I should say. And the fastest lap of the race, if you look in the top right-hand corner of your screen, is Ellie Buss in that 33 machine. Ellie Buss actually was your winner at Coca-Cola Super Speedway, so a Super Speedway driver doing well at a Super Speedway in Daytona, so that's good to see. Speed carrying over from that last plate race at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. And it looks like Jarrett Trudell's jumped to the inside of Maxwell Smart. We've got some 2x2 action at the front here. Things have changed slightly at the front. We've got 2x2 instead of that 3 wide. But I believe we will get back to that in just a moment if the pack gobbles these drivers up at the front like they have been. And, ooh, did Maxwell Smart lead that lap? No, Jared Trudell led that lap by .00. Well, we won't know because it doesn't show us on the right-hand side of your screen, the ticker. But all we do know is that Jared Trudell's led that lap, but it looks like Beth Sanders is going to try to lead this one here on that bottom lane. And Beth Sanders had a fairly quiet season, but got involved in a couple wrecks throughout the season. As Mitch Barrier giving help on the bottom lane. And we'll find somebody to ride with here in just a moment, but we... Tell you what, let's go with Jerry Funk here, and we'll go taking a look at Jerry Funk here, and we might give you some ARCS Crank It Up in just a moment, and let you ride with Jerry Funk as he is the leader of the championship drivers in this race as we speak here. Ooh, and we got a pass for the lead. Yep, Mitch Barrier looking to the inside, I believe. Yep. We've almost got 4 wide for the lead here as Clay Stone's going to look to the inside of Mitch Barrier, but Mitch Barrier's going to close the door. Oh, wait, never mind. Mitch Barrier, oh, we got 4 wide up at the front for the most part here, but it's going to sort itself out back to 3 wide. It's Clay Stone on that bottom lane. And those playoff drivers are starting to slowly creep down to that bottom line. As you can see on that bottom lane, Pedro Perez is on the bottom. Yep, right behind Roland Heidfeld. As we go here, Pedro Perez, that white and teal looking 26 on that bottom lane. If there's a driver who has the best chance here, it's going to be Pedro Perez because he's going to get shoved to the front on that bottom lane. But Jerry Funk is still your championship leader, but that's going to slowly change here in the next couple laps as you see Jerry Funk in that yellow and green car on that outside line behind, or in front of Keith Vega, I should say. But Mitch Barrier in the lead here at Daytona. And Jerry Funk's getting moved back. And I believe Pedro Perez this lap will pass Jerry Funk for the ARCS championship lead here at Daytona. As you got Elias Goodbias and Noah Hobson, all 4 of the playoff drivers are 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. If you look at Pedro Perez, you've got Elias Goodbias 3 wide there. Well, it was 3 wide, I should say, but Jerry Funk getting some toe on the outside, and the pass for the championship is going to be made soon here as Pedro Perez has passed Jerry Funk for the ARCS title. And we're only 15 of 40 laps in, but that is the first time it has changed hands in a while here at Daytona. But it's early here in the Hooters 100, but Mitch Barrier is still leading, and there is our championship leader, Pedro Perez, on the bottom, with Elias Goodbias now passing Jerry Funk in that middle lane. As Elias Goodbias and Noah Hobson are in that middle line, they got shunted down to the middle line as they dropped back, or were trying to drop back off that high side and get to the bottom of the track. And we'll see if they can do that, and Jacob Bradley's doing just that as he drops to the bottom. And we'll go back up to the front of the pack as we have established Pedro Perez as our championship leader here. And who leads this lap? And it's going to be Mitch Barrier on the outside line. But Mark Ware is coming out of nowhere, and he's got this lead on the bottom lane with a little bit of help from Quinn Porter. As Quinn Porter is getting help from Cassidy Reynolds. I believe that blue and yellow Best Buy machine. Yep, that is Cassidy Reynolds on that bottom line. Ooh, will Cassidy Reynolds make it 4 wide potentially here in this corner? No, and Quinn Porter is going to lead this lap, but he might slide up here. Oh no, he won't slide up because he's got 2 drivers above him. And Quinn Porter will lead that lap. Wow. Or no, and he will not lead that lap as the ticker adjusted there. And ooh, Cassidy Reynolds looking pretty frisky to the inside of Quinn Porter. Quinn Porter does not block there. as we're 18 of 40 complete here at the Hooters 100. And championship-wise, Pedro Perez is still your leader in the ARCS inaugural season championship. But Jerry Funk on that outside lane will be dropping down shortly, so we'll see how everything's timed out here, and we'll see who gets this championship. But we still have over half a race left here at Daytona. A lot of things can still happen, as Callian Bogart's going to look to the inside of Cassidy Reynolds. And we have 3 wide for the lead here at Daytona. Cassidy Reynolds going to almost drop down in front of Callian Bogarts, but Cassidy Reynolds going to hold strong in that outside lane, and we'll see who leads here at the stripe. As Sean Carson makes a little contact with Cassidy Reynolds, and Cassidy Reynolds will lead that lap. And we're halfway home, ladies and gentlemen, in the inaugural season championship race, as Callian Bogarts is our leader currently with Denzel Scott, who is last in the regular season points. So Denzel Scott hoping to go out on a high note here at Daytona. Paris Riley giving help to that bottom line with Denzel Scott, the leader on that bottom line, but Sean Carson, another driver who's had a mediocre season that wants to capitalize here at this plate track where anybody's got a shot to win. Sean Carson going to lead that lap, and Sean Carson's kind of running away here. Ooh, 3 wide for second here. Paris Riley's going to look to the inside of Denzel Scott. And Jerry Funk, Jerry Funk, I think is losing the draft back there. Let's take a look at Jerry Funk. Uh-oh. This has got major playoff implications if Jerry Funk loses the draft here. Jerry Funk trying to fall in line. I believe Jerry Funk does have draft now. Jerry Funk fans are breathing a sigh of relief here as Jerry Funk has found the draft here at Daytona and is on that bottom lane trying to make things work. But Jerry Funk's got a long ways to go before he can be an ARCS champion, but he's got to get through this field on the bottom lane, doing it the hard way here at Daytona. And Sean Carson still leads here at Daytona International Speedway for the Hooters 100. And let's take a look at the Hooters fastest lap of the day on the top right-hand corner of your screen. And Ellie Buss is still the holder of the Hooters fastest lap with, I believe, and we've got Pedro Perez, a playoff driver, sent into the infield. Oh, and he's going to come back and collect the field! The big one here at Daytona! And a playoff driver involved! My goodness! And this has flipped this race on its lid! I was not expecting that at all. We had a calm race, a very calm race, and they're going to race back here. And my goodness, the monotony has been broken. And we had another crash, didn't we? No, did we have another? We might have had another crash. Or no, did they just get strung out? They might have just got strung out, my bad. But we'll see who leads to the caution flag. And it's going to be Callian Bogarts. But my goodness, this field has been flipped upside down. And let's get a replay of the accident. And we're back here at Daytona International Speedway with the first wreck of the evening. It involves Pedro Perez. We'll take a look here. As Pedro Perez takes out a bunch of drivers trying to merge back onto the track. And we'll get another replay of the accident in just a moment. And we're back here at Daytona with another look at the accident as Pedro Perez tries to come back and merge onto the track after being greedy early and takes out a bunch of drivers here. Diego Tacone involved, and surprisingly, no playoff drivers involved in this accident here at Daytona. That's the big That's the big key takeaway here at Daytona. All 4 playoff contenders are safe. And we're back here at Daytona International Speedway. 4 drivers are retired in this race. Mark Ware, Quinn Porter, Tyler Seville, and Marin Kozaric are out of this one. And Ringus McDingus is 2 laps down. And the highest championship driver is, I believe, Noah Hobson. But Jerry Funk is right behind Noah Hobson in the middle of the pack here. And Sean Carson is going to lead us to green here, with 28 of 40 complete as he crosses the stripe in the Hooters 40, or the Hooters 100. We've got 40 laps here at Daytona, but 100 miles. Ooh, as Noah Hobson drops to the bottom there. We'll go back and check on Noah Hobson, as he is our highest running championship driver, with Jerry Funk hot on his tail here at Daytona. But Pedro Perez, if you look behind Beth Sanders, is right there as well. So 3 playoff drivers. Oh, but Jerry Funk's going to go to the high side. Not the right move if I was Jerry Funk. That is definitely not where you want to be. You want to be on that bottom here at Daytona. It's the fastest way around and the shortest way around. Let's take a look at the leaders here, and a lot of stringiness going throughout the pack as it's fairly strung out, but Paris Riley is your leader here at Daytona. Oh, and I've got bad news to report here at Daytona. Elias Goodbias has lost the draft here at the back of the pack with Jordan Walker. With roughly 10 laps to go, Elias Goodbias is going to need a caution to be back in this race. But the front of the pack is forming here at Daytona. Sean Carson is your leader. But Elias Goodbias, unfortunately, is probably not going to have a shot at your championship here today. Right now, as it sits, it's probably the championship 3 here at Daytona, with Noah Hobson leading your championship here in that middle line, I believe, with Jerry Funk following suit in the middle line. Pedro Perez is right there behind this action here in that big pack. Pedro Perez going to the outside. I don't agree with that move. If I'm Pedro Perez, I want to drop to the bottom and get by Noah Hobson and Jerry Funk right there. Both of those yellow cars in that middle line at the back, those are championship contenders. And Noah Hobson, like he's been doing all season, is leading the charge there in the top spot for the championship. Be very fitting to see him win this title, but we've got to get through 10 more laps here at Daytona, and Cassidy Reynolds out with a good margin over the field with Sean Carson's going to go for the lead here. Got a couple stragglers at the back of the pack trying to stay with this group, but Pedro Perez cannot decide where he wants to go here. Will he go to that bottom line, or will he stay with the outside line? If Pedro Perez drops down now, he's got a shot at passing Noah Hobson and Jerry Funk. 9 laps to go here at Daytona. Still anybody's race, or championship, I should say. A lot of drivers out or falling off with the draft, but Pedro Perez just needs to get to that inside line if he wants a chance at the championship, but he's content with riding in that middle line. That still gives Noah Hobson the advantage. And I believe Ricky Quinn's going to lead the lap here at Daytona. 8 laps to go here in the Hooters 100 to decide your inaugural champion in the ARCS season. Oh, and Pedro Perez is stuck in that middle lane here. Dre Herron drops to the inside of him as we got, Elias Goodbias, poor Elias Goodbias back here in the back of the field. But Carter Hayden gonna look to the bottom of Ellie Buss for the lead here. Carter Hayden good on super speedways as he won his way in at Talladega Super Speedway to get himself into the playoffs and collected another win in the playoffs, so good job for Carter Hayden, and made do of his playoff spot here in the ARCS, but ultimately did not get a championship berth and was 1 spot short of making the championship 4. And if Carter Hayden was in the championship 4 right now, he'd be leading, as he is in the lead in this race, but Matthew Bussey Jr. going to look to the inside of Carter Hayden for the lead here, as nothing has changed with the playoff drivers, as Noah Hobson is still your championship leader here Got Noah Hobson, Jerry Funk right behind him, hot on his tail. And then you've got Beth Sanders and then Pedro Perez on that middle lane. And those are your drivers there for the championship. Or Clay Stone trying to get some draft there, but just barely hanging on. But Matthew Bussey Jr. is leading slightly over Carter Hayden. As we look at Noah Hobson, your points, or not points I should say, championship leader here in the final race of the season. But Brandy Harper looking to the inside of Matthew Bussey Jr. And Clay Stone's formed up quite nicely. He might still be getting a little taste of that draft as Dave Wilson is trying to give him some suck there to get him back into the pack. But Noah Hobson is secured himself in that middle lane, not allowing Jerry Funk to pass. Uh-oh, folks. I see a lap car. This could throw a monkey wrench into the plans of all the other drivers, but Draven Sandy is off the pace with no drafting help, and I believe he might be down a cylinder. Uh-oh. And here comes the pack, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the story all season long. Lap cars in the way. But will it affect the championship drivers? We know it'll affect the pack, but how will it affect our championship here in the ARCS? Draven Sandy really slow here. Oh, and that middle line's getting slowed down heavily. But Draven Sandy's going to get eaten up inside this pack. But it does not affect the pack very much. But Draven Sandy is very slow, though. He's got to be down a cylinder here, as he's holding multiple drivers up, and the championship drivers are getting held up. Whoa, Draven. And he is really holding this pack up here in the back of the field. But Pedro Perez and Noah Hobson are all trying to maneuver their way around Draven Sandy. And this could possibly give Elias Goodbias the chance to get back up here at this rate. But Noah Hobson and Jerry Funk are getting around Draven Sandy. And Pedro Perez, uh-oh, Jerry Funk is going to look to the inside of Noah Hobson. We've got a pass for the championship here. Coming to 3 laps to go as we're going to follow this championship battle. Beth Sanders going to make it 3 wide. That's going to give Pedro Perez the opportunity to possibly get up to these championship competitors. As Beth Sanders making it 3 wide. Pedro Perez getting some draft off of Noah Hobson. The 3 championship contenders are nose to tail damn near here in the ARCS. And Noah Hobson going to look to the inside and going to block Pedro Perez on the bottom. Pedro Perez and Noah Hobson might have to be forced to work together. Forced to work together here if he wants to get Jerry Funk, as they're strung out at the back. Pedro Perez looks to the inside of Noah Hobson for the 2nd place position in the championship standings. And everybody's dropped to the bottom here at Daytona. No caution on the speedway. Everything's green. We've got 3 laps to go here in Daytona. Jerry Funk is your championship leader here. Barring anything crazy, Jerry Funk likely has the best odds here to win the championship after a Draven Sandy kerfuffle here late in this race after he was off the pace. But anything goes here, as this front pack is still very racy and could cause a caution here. Heck, we could even get overtime here, folks. 2 laps to go here in the final race in the Hooters 100. Jerry Funk on that bottom, but don't count out Noah Hobson and Pedro Perez as they're still trying to fight to get this championship. But Jerry Funk, all he has to do is maintain that bottom lane, and he will likely be your champion here. But Denzel Scott is helping Pedro Perez. It's not over till the Fat Lady sings at Daytona. And Pedro Perez is going to get shuffled to the outside line. No! But Jerry Funk is still in the prime position here for the championship. Carter Hayden leading at a super speedway. No surprise. The final lap of the season is underway here at Daytona. Oh, we've got a wreck! We've got a wreck! The championship drivers might be involved! Oh! There's a crash in the front of the field! Multiple drivers involved! But Jerry Funk still is in the lead for the championship here at Daytona. Caution is on the speedway. But Jerry Funk, all he has to do is make it back to the stripe and he is your champion, as the other contenders were involved. Jerry Funk, what an amazing season it's been after a dominant win at North Wilkesboro Speedway. The focus is not on the lead here, but it is on the championship for the ARCS inaugural season, and Jerry Funk's going to win a thriller here at Daytona and claim the inaugural season championship in the ARCS. Congratulations to Jerry Funk on his first career championship. And there's Pedro Perez, your other championship contender. And Noah Hobson is on the back of a wrecker on pit road, as you can see there. Unfortunate end to the most dominant driver in the ARCS. And Jerry Funk is your champion here at Daytona. And we're back here at Daytona International Speedway. We're going to take a look at that last lap crash that took place between Jarrett Trudell and Cassidy Reynolds and took out the playoff contender of Noah Hobson. Jarrett Trudell gets sent to the inside line, but he just keeps accelerating and nearly takes out our leader of Carter Hayden, but absolutely destroys Ellie Buss. And if you see Callian Bogarts, and a bunch of drivers piling in, and Noah Hobson absolutely derailed his championship hopes and gave Jerry Funk an easy ride to the championship in the ARCS season. And we're back here at Daytona International Speedway, as we've crowned a champion here tonight in Jerry Funk, our inaugural season champion, and Carter Hayden securing his third win on the season and becoming the most winningest driver in the ARCS history thus far. So congratulations to both those drivers, Jerry Funk and Carter Hayden, on an amazing season. And as we close things out here in the inaugural season, just a big thank you for everybody that signed up in the inaugural season, and we'll hope to see you all again next season. And I'm going to announce the sign-up time for Season 2 in the ARCS season. Never thought I'd say that, but thanks to all of you, we're going to have a Season 2 here, and that will be May 26th, which is a Thursday, at 12 p.m. Central Time in the United States. Hope to see you there, and we're going to be posting that on Reddit at, again, 12 p.m. Central Time on May 26th. So hope to see you there, and sign your driver up for Season 2.